Hi, my name is Michael G, and have another video for you today. And this is a really big one. And, can attack this from many different angles, but I'm going to try and do it the simplest way. And if you saw my other two videos, or the masterclass videos as I start them off, regarding Jesus is the King of Israel, not the King of the Jews, then this will make a lot more sense. So, the video is a revelation of the abomination that maketh desolate. Now, Jesus said this was a warning, and we have to understand that the voice that we heard from heaven, John, Peter, and James, was, "My beloved Son, hear ye him." And so that's when we read what Jesus had said, we have to pay extra attention to what he says, because God himself said it, the voice from heaven. So the first place that Jesus says about the abomination that maketh desolate, I'm just going to read that, and I'm going to tell you what it is, and then after that you'll get it. Okay, so all right, so this is where the abominations will go up a little further. "And then many shall be stumbled, and they shall deliver up one another, and shall hate one another." This is Matthew 24:10. "And many false prophets shall arise, and they shall lead many astray. And because of the abounding of the lawlessness, the love of the many shall become cold. But he who did endure to the end, he shall be saved. And this good news of the reign of truth, shall be proclaimed in all the world for testimony to all nations." This couldn't even been done like it can be done today. "And then shall the end arrive. Whenever, therefore, ye may see the abomination of the desolation that was spoken of through Daniel the prophet, standing in the holy place, whoever is reading, let him observe. Then those in Judea, let them flee to the mountains. He on the housetop, let him not come down and take up anything out of his house." Now, interesting, Judea, right? Okay, so what is the abomination? Now, I'm going to go back to it too. So we have the holy place. So what do we have as the holy place? Is, let's say, a church, okay? We have a church. We have a pulpit. We have somebody there talking, right? And you have all the people, right? So this guy standing in the holy place, all right? What are they teaching? They're teaching the following. They say Jesus is a Jew. Jesus is the King of Jews. Is the King of Jews. Can you see it? We know for a fact that Jesus is not a Jew, because Jesus said the Jews are devils, except for ones that tell the truth. If they stay in his truth, then it's okay. So there is pass. So this is not, just know what you're saying here. That's what I'm trying to tell people, if someone is about to say that. Jesus is the King of the Jews. Another lie. Now, why is that teaching in the pulpit? Okay, so now you're telling all these people, you're advertising, this is what they're doing now, they're advertising that Jesus is a devil, okay, and Jesus is the king of the devils. This, yeah. Is this an abomination? What is this going to make? Desolate. You're telling everyone what the devil wants you to know, because the Jews want to tie themselves to Jesus from John 8, where Jesus said that, and ye are of your father, ye of your father, the devil, and you do the works of your father. In fact, John 8, all of John 8 is spectacular. It tells you the difference. Here's the abomination that maketh desolate. That the pastors, that the priests, they're standing there professing God, and meanwhile they're professing the lie that Jesus is the king of the Jews, or king of the devils. Jesus is the king of Israel. The Jews are not Israel. Israel is 12 tribes. That's why when you look at Revelation, it talks about the 12 tribes. Right then and there, it's telling you flat out it's not about the Jews, because the Jews would be Judah. Judah had 2 wives. Remember, I said this before. One was where he did fornicate with, and the other one was Tamar. Tamar was hidden, just like now. She was hidden. And why is Tamar so important? Because Tamar had the staff, the ribbon, and the seal of Judah. You know, the line, she had it. Judah didn't have it. Okay? One more time so we get this straight. If you go to a church and the church tells you that Jesus is a Jew, or Jesus is the King of Jews, that's the abomination that maketh desolate. That's saying that the devil's children are the ones that are that Jesus came to save, which is not true, even by their own mouth. Because remember, when the Jews were talking, you know, they were like the snake. They spoke in a forked tongue. When it suited their needs, they said, Jesus is the King of the Jews. When it suited their needs, they said, we have no king. Caesar is the king. That's a forked tongue. The forked tongue of the serpent. Now, let me put this another way. Why Jesus would not come for the devil's children. Okay? Jesus was on the cross. On the cross, he has a left hand and a right hand. So if he's facing us, let's say this is his, right hand. The Greek Orthodox have it right. They have the right hand, let's say right hand, pointing upward, and the left hand pointing downward. And this is also in the Bible. Okay, when it talks about the devil and his children, they're going to be on the left hand. Why the left hand? God makes this so simple. The right hand is the hand, the right hand of God. The will is of God. The left hand is not the hand you do things with, unless you're left-handed. But you understand what I'm saying. The left hand is not the hand that can do the will. So what does that mean? Well, the thief on the cross said, if thou be, save us and yourself. The Jews' religion and the devil religion. Now, this is not the Bible religion. This is their own interpretation. The Jews, the devil is that your will. So the devil and the Jews were trying to get Jesus to use his will to save himself. Okay? If Jesus used his will to save himself, then he could not save anybody else. And he'd only be saving the devils. See, we have day and night. Okay? Jesus can't bring the night into the day. There has to be a night. Jesus is the light of life, somebody has to be the knight, the left hand, and that's for the devil and their children. By saying that Jesus was Jewish, or Jesus is the king of the Jews, what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it so that they don't get the judgment. That's what's going on. That's the abomination that maketh desolate. That in the churches they're teaching that Jesus is the king of the Jews. That's and we've already established in my last video that's impossible. Jesus never said it. When they came at him, when Judas was the guide to Jesus, they asked him, "Are you Jesus of Nazareth?" Jesus said, "No problem." He said, "I am." And every time he said it, they all fell back. He had no problem saying that. But when Pilate was asking Jesus, "Art thou king of the Jews?" Jesus said, "You said it." Now, do you really think that Jesus would be fearful of saying, "I am," if he was? No, he wouldn't be. But the devil wants him to say that, to save himself. If Jesus said, "I am," to Pilate, then that would have absolved the devil and his children. I mean, this is a really big deal. You got to remember, there's power in language. Language has power. Because we have a patch of land now that they name it Israel, and most of the people think that because Jesus is king of the Jews, oh, now we have Israel. That's not Israel of God. And why would Israel of God be filled with Jews? Now, let me go to Abomination again, and we're going to go into Malachi for a second. Okay, so we understand this now. We're going to go to Malachi. Now, why Malachi? Because Malachi is the place in the Bible where God said he was going to send Elijah to smite the earth, and the reason why he was going to send Elijah is because of what the abomination that maketh desolate. So, let's go to Malachi. Now, you can go read this as much as you want, but every church in the country, they'll tell you right away, "Oh, Jesus is king of the Jews, king of the Jews." And we know that's a lie. That's the deception. That's the abomination that maketh, and that's why it said, "Flee Judea." See? Flee Judea. Why Judea? Judah. The Judah that knows, the Judah of Tamar to flee. The Judah of Tamar. Okay, Malachi. Now, Malachi is fantastic. It's a fantastic because it has so much. And I'm going to read a few parts of Malachi so we know what we're talking about here. Okay, have we not all one Father? Okay, right? Malachi 2:10. That makes sense, right? Hath not our God prepared us? Wherefore do we deal treacherously each against his brother, to pollute the covenant of our fathers? Dealt treacherously hath Judah. Why? And abomination hath been done in Israel and in Jerusalem, for polluted hath Judah the holy thing of Jehovah, that he hath loved and hath married the daughter of a strange god. You see this? Cut off doth Jehovah the man who doth it, tempter and tempted from the tents of Jacob, even he who is bringing nigh a present to Jehovah of hosts. Do you get it? The devil wants to try and pass itself off as God's children. So what they do? They crucified Jesus, they pinned it on the Romans, and they said that Jesus was king of the Jews. They seeded that so that they can get out. Remember, when Jesus was coming for the Passover, the disciples said, "We found him." Nathanael, what did Nathanael say? Son of God, King of Israel. Okay, these are Israelites. What did the Jews say? The Jews, the Jews crucified him. What is this like? Abel, Cain. Abel's sacrifice was good. Cain's sacrifice was to kill the truth. Kill the truth. So, what did they say? King of the Jews. And then they used the forked tongue. They said, we have no king. Caesar's our king. I mean, this is played out in real time in the Bible. Okay, I'm going to read two other parts of Malachi, and then we're going to go jump back to Abomination again. Now, we're going to go to Malachi 3, just so we know exactly how close we are. Because the abomination maketh desolate, now revealed, now you know what they're teaching in the churches, and Satan is teaching through the churches with these priests that are saying, oh, king of the Jews. Malachi 3, Lo, I am sending my messenger, the messenger of truth, and he hath prepared a way before me, and suddenly come in unto his temple doth the Lord, whom ye are seeking, even the messenger of the covenant, whom ye are desiring. Lo, he is coming, said Jehovah of hosts, and who is bearing the day of his coming? And who is standing in his appearance? For he as a refining fire, as a fire of a refiner, and as soap of a fuller, and he hath sat as a refiner and purifier of silver, and hath purified the sons of Levi, and hath refined them as gold and as silver, and they have been to Jehovah bringing nigh a present to righteousness, and sweet to Jehovah hath been the present of Judah and Jerusalem, as in of the old days. Now remember, Judah bent the knee to Joseph. Okay? They killed God had killed off two of his sons, and then Judah tried to save the father because of Benjamin with Joseph, because they didn't know Joseph was the ruler. So when Judah bent the knee, now in Corinthians it says that's a big stumbling block for the Jews to Christ crucified. Now let's go to what do we have to focus on? I'm just jumping. I might do a second video to this because it's so big. It's so tremendous. This is a big game changer. This right now, I mean, we are in an incredible time to be able to see this. And if you see this, tell people about it. Share it. Let them find the error. If they think that there's an error, I'm like, go ahead, go for it. I go, you're not going to find it. I mean, you might find me misspeaking here and there, or you might find me with a grammar, but you're not going to be able to pull off that Jesus was indeed the King of the Jews. That's not going to happen. And I have come unto you, brethren. This is 1 Corinthians 2:1. Not in superiority of discourse or wisdom declaring to you the testimony of God. For I decided not to know anything among you except Jesus Christ and Him crucified. That's the whole deal. I've always wondered, what was it about the crucifixion that made so much... Now I got it. And this is why these videos are so much stronger now. And I, in weakness and in fear and in much trembling, was with you, and my word and my preaching was not in persuasive words of human wisdom. What's human wisdom? The human wisdom is to kind of like lie. That's human wisdom. But in demonstration of the Spirit and of power, and that's really what all these videos are about, is showing the power of God and the Spirit. Same words, but now with the power of God and His Spirit, just a totally expanded understanding. That your faith may not be in the wisdom of men, but in the power of God. And wisdom we speak among the perfect, and wisdom not of this age. See, what did they teach us of this age? They were teaching us Jesus is the King of the Jews. That's a lie. That's a lie. Jesus is for Israel, and Israel is dispersed among all the nations. He scattered the power. A lot of words I say, a lot of like little phrases I say, you can always dig them up in the Bible and they'll go back to a whole, understanding. My words are pretty much channeled so that you could use certain parts of the video that I'm saying something, and then you could find it in the Bible, and it'll bring you right to where you need to be to see it. Nor are the rulers of this age. The rulers of this age, which rulers? Spiritual rulers as well, of those becoming useless. Why? Because they got the abomination of making desolate. But we speak the hidden wisdom of God, a secret that God foreordained before the ages to our glory, which no one of the rulers of this age did know. For if they had known the Lord of the glory, they would have not crucified. But according as it hath been written, what eye did not see, and ear did not hear, and upon the heart of man came not up, what God did prepare for those loving him. Loving what? Loving the truth. But to us did God reveal through his Spirit. For the Spirit all things doth search, even the depths of God. For who of men hath known the things of man, except the Spirit of the man in him? So also the things of God no one hath known, except the Spirit of God. And we, the spirit of the world, did not receive. What did the spirit of the world teach us? The spirit of the world has been teaching what? The abomination that maketh desolate. That Jesus was king of the Jews, when in reality Jesus is king of Israel. But the spirit that of God, that we may know of the things conferred by God unto us, which things also we speak, not in words taught by human wisdom, but those taught by the Holy Spirit, which spiritual things comparing, analogous. Jesus is telling us right here, Paul is telling us right here, the 12th apostle, the apostle is saying that we are taught by the Holy Spirit spiritual things comparing, analogous teaching. My other videos on analogous, Jesus always spoke analogous. The spirit in the Bible, and you check the spirit of everything that's going on in the world too, and yourself, and who's speaking. This is the comparing. And the natural man, where'd it go? Oh, geez, I lost. How'd I get to this one? Sorry, got too excited there. Oh man, these computers! I gotta get me a new one of these. 1 Corinthians 2. I think I'm about 8. All right, let's go back. I don't know how we got there. Okay, spiritual things comparing, and the natural man doth not receive the things of the Spirit of God, for to them they are foolishness. Imagine telling someone that you got to tell the truth. That's foolishness. The world says that, oh, you could lie and just get over, you could lie, everything's all right, don't worry. And he is not able to know, because spiritually they are discerned. And he who is spiritual doth discern indeed all things, and he himself is by no one discerned. For who did know the mind of the Lord, that we shall instruct him? And we have the mind of Christ. This is so powerful. I hope you get it. Now let's just, bounce around on abomination. If you do a search, also do search on devil, and you will see how this is perfect in line. So we saw the abomination that is exactly what Judah did. And that's exactly what the abomination that maketh desolate. So look how amazing that was, that it was there. Okay. When ye see, again, the same thing. And when ye may see the abomination of desolation that was spoken, this is Mark 13:14, of Daniel the prophet, standing where it ought not. Yeah. When it's standing someplace, what are you expecting to see? You're expecting to see a guy with like a pitchfork and like red head or something? That's nonsense. Whoever is reading, let him understand. Then those in Judea, let him flee to the mountains, and he upon the housetop, let him not come down to the house, nor come in to take anything out of his house. And he who is in the field, okay, that part, I'm not here to discuss that part, but the abomination that maketh desolate is what they're teaching in the churches, the error about Jesus, that Jesus was sacrificed for the devil. Really? That's why Jesus was sacrificed. By the way, if Jesus was the king of the Jews, all right, if Jesus is the king of the Jews, that lie is portrayed, that means everybody goes to hell. Then everybody goes under the judgment except for the devil. You see how backwards that was? You see how the devil tried to pass off one of its own? Same thing what Judah did when he tried to get Tamar to marry the son of the Canaanite. He tried to pass off the woman of the strange god. That's exactly what's going on today. Okay, let's Luke. We have Revelation. Anything defiling? Okay, let's look up abomination in some places in the Old Testament, which is also quite interesting. Let's see. And Moses not right to do so. Leviticus. They are to you flesh. Anyone that hath not, and ye do not abominate flour. Numbers, Deuteronomy. The graven images. Okay, let's look at 725 for a second. The graven images of their gods ye do burn with fire. Okay, thou dost not desire the silver and the gold on them. Interesting. Nor hast thou taken to thyself, lest thou be snared by it. For the abomination of Jehovah thy God it. And thou dost not bring in an abomination unto the house, or thou hast been devoted like it. Right? Are we talking about this right now? The abomination that maketh desolate? What are they devoting? They're devoting that Jesus was a Jew. And Jesus, by the way, was born to Mary. Mary is a Levite. And we know that because they're cousins with Elizabeth. And Elizabeth is a Levite. And, let's talk about Levite. Well, let me finish this. Unto thy house, or thou hast been devoted like it. Thou dost utterly detest it, and thou dost utterly abominate it, for it is devoted. All right, now we go to Malachi again. Now, Malachi is such an incredible, because Malachi talks about this. The burden of the word of Jehovah unto Israel by the hand of Malachi. I have loved you, said Jehovah, and ye have said, in what hast thou loved us? Is not Esau Jacob's brother? And affirmation of Jehovah, and I love Jacob, and Esau I have hated. Today, fake Israel is Esau. Because how do we know it's fake Israel? Because it's filled with the Jews. That's why. And I make his mountains a desolation. The abomination that maketh desolate, right? And his inheritance for dragons of a wilderness. Because Edom saith, we have been made poor, and we turn back and we build the wastes. You see, the land that was of Israel, that's done. It's done with. Now the spirit comes to the body. That's why when Jesus was crucified, when Jesus was crucified, the veil was torn from top, bottom. And when that veil was torn, then behind the veil there was nothing. There was nothing behind the veil. Because what the Jews were teaching was the lie. They didn't have the power of God. They didn't have the Holy of Holies. They didn't have the Ark of the Covenant. They had nothing. And that's what Jesus revealed. And what did they try and make him now? The King of the Jews? If you go back and you see it, if you see when Jesus was crucified and you understand who's saying what, you're going to see. Who was Jesus say, ye seek to kill me? He was saying that about the Jews. He wasn't saying that about the Romans. Jesus never said about the Romans that ye seek to kill me. In John 8, he says, ye seek to kill me. In John, I think, 10, he says, ye seek to kill me. They picked up rocks in John 8, stones. I'm coming to the end. I'm going to have to add more to this to the next video. God bless.